It involves real-time coordination with your parent department back home, which is the Ministry of External Affairs. There are, days, and weeks and months like where continuously you need to really, come up with top quality work and without a break. You need to do a political work, you need to do defense work, you need to do commercial, you need to do trade, you need to do culture.
When compared to IAS and IPS, the general perception is IFS officers lead a stress-free life. Is it true?
I don't think so. I mean, see, again, the nature of work in every service differs. I mean, an IPS officer, for him, right from day one, the nature of his work is, set in a certain pattern. We cannot obviously compare, apples and oranges. It is his responsibility, his pattern of work is designed in such a way where he can do that to achieve the best possible outcome for the organization. For a diplomat, his responsibilities and pattern of working is designed in such a way that I'm able to achieve the best possible outcome for the organization, for the country. So it would be unfair to both the people to compare this and say which is more stressful which is stress free. But suffice it to say that the job and the service gives you sufficient opportunity where you are able to kind of learn and develop your personality beyond your official responsibilities also. Doesn't mean that it is stress free. There are days and weeks and months like where continuously you need to really come up with top quality work and without a break. So it can be tremendously stressful, and not physical, but then like mentally, intellectually, sometimes physically also, because you need to work in circumstances that are very challenging. So the general perception that the officers abroad, particularly people posted out, and now they have a stress-free life. And for aspiring candidates to look at this as a major factor in deciding, it'll be not very right. They have to look at the other things which I told you, like their own core competencies, their own natural aptitudes, and their interest in the areas which I had outlined. It would be better if they base their decision on those factors rather than now look at certain imaginary things. I mean, certainly any government responsibility, whether it is in IAS, whether it is in IFS, or let's say in railway accounts or audit or whatever service, every responsibility, every position comes with its own responsibility. It depends on what you do. I mean, you can really do wonders in any position you are given. So it depends on how you take it and how you deliver. And of course, it again depends on you whether you want to make it really stressful for you, or you would like to do it in an efficient way. I mean, not compromising on the work required of you, but of course also not compromising on your own health and stress related things. It depends on the individual officer how he manages to balance it out. It is not a zero-sum game that you need to be very efficient officer means you have to be taking a lot of stress. No, I've seen a lot of officers who are top class, superbly efficient, outstanding in their work, but very balanced, and they approach life in a very balanced way and don't take any stress and don't give stress to others also. So it depends again on the officer concerned. But as common in any other government service, it has its ups and downs in terms of the work cycle. Sometime you may have a lot of work continuously pouring in without any break. Sometimes you do get some pass. It is like that. It's a mix of both.
how a typical day of an IFS officer posted abroad will be like?
Again, an interesting question. I mean, see, you should first understand the work of mission abroad. It is a microcosm of the government of India. In one single setup, you are supposed to, compress everything that goes into the government of India. You need to do a political work, you need to do defense work, you need to do commercial, you need to do trade, you need to do culture, you need to do science and technology, you need to do event management, you need to do protocol. All of those things come together, and there are very limited number of officers in a mission abroad. Usually, if you go abroad, in most of our missions, it'll be like about 4 or 5 officers, diplomatic officers, in most of the missions. I am not saying for all. In some missions, it'll be very big. In very few missions, it'll be less also. So if you look at the kind of responsibility, the work that is expected of an officer and the number of officers that is available, you have to have a system where, like, necessarily the officers have to do a varied kind of a work. So a typical day, I mean, because it involves a real-time coordination with your parent department back home, which is the Ministry of External Affairs, and also the other ministries and departments, and of course your counterpart organization here in the host country, which is the Foreign Ministry. Here in Australia, we call it as the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, DFAT. So let's say, like, a normal day, when you come to office, there is a time difference of 4.5 hours also, between Australia and India. So sometimes it's an advantage, sometimes it's a disadvantage. In this case, it's an advantage because we have a head start of 4.5 hours, so we can prepare everything and, like, be ready before Delhi comes to work, comes to office in the morning. So normally what we do is, like, we quickly do a run up of, like, what has happened in the time the office has finished between Delhi and here, and then, like, do the internal review meeting here to touch base and coordinate on important matters of follow up with both our parent department and also the issues that needs to be taken up with the counterpart department, which is the DFAT here. And now, I mean, what are the circumstances? We have an extraordinarily difficult circumstance where we have thousands of standard Indian nationals abroad waiting to be repatriated back, and this thing is one of the main work that is going on at the moment. So we also look at the coordination of the repatriation flights, how it is happening, and working the logistics of the repatriation, right from the registration to the seeing off of the passengers, making sure that the health protocol is followed to the T. All those things are the responsibilities of the mission and the consulates concerned. So, I mean, we also have 3 consulates within Australia: Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth. As the mothership, the mission in Canberra is also responsible for coordinating. Of course, they are all autonomous, entities themselves, but still, as the High Commission of India, we coordinate very closely with our consulates in Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth, with them on all aspects, particularly on consular aspects, on repatriation issues like that. So we start off, like, early morning with the general overview and what to be followed up on that day, and then, like, we do this repatriation and consular thing, and then, of course, we can't let COVID kind of take away everything from us. We have to prevail, and we have to see the other side of the story also. So we continue with our hardcore work. I mean, the hardcore work of a diplomat outside India is the political diplomacy, and after that comes the economic diplomacy. So very important thing we have to do. For example, we are following up now on the virtual summit that happened between Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Scott Morrison. If you have seen, it was a solid engagement, far like more substantial than even a regular conventional kind of a summit. There was a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement and 8 solid agreements that have come out after that, leadership summit. So these are not just ending with the announcement at the summit. It has to be implemented on the ground. it has to be taken to the next step and then towards the logical conclusion. So you engage towards that end with the counterpart department, with the line agencies departments here as well as in India. For example, like, if there is space collaboration that is being planned, we have to do the hand holding. Like, suddenly we become experts in science and technology, we have to go through it and, do the, facilitation work between ISRO on that side and the Australian Space Agency on this side. And as you mentioned, like, we were doing the repatriation, some very, 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 very valuable cultural artifacts from India unfortunately have been lost, for generations. We found them here, so we have to do the work of a, kind of a cultural kind of, person to trace these, treasures of India, find them, back them with legal evidence, and then get them back to, India. So we will be engaging with the National Gallery people here, or the Ministry or Department of Culture here, and with ASA there back home in India. That is one thing we'll be doing. So it is never the same on any single day. We'll be doing from political, and then just yesterday we were doing a virtual webinar with the Business Council here to see the areas where we can map out the business opportunities between India and Australia. So there is never a dull moment. You do hardcore political negotiation one day, you go and meet and negotiate a favorable outcome for your country, and next time, next hour, you will be doing some event management. Next hour you will be doing something scientific and technology related to boost the collaboration in the space sector. Maybe then afterwards you will be looking at the welfare of your own community people in getting them back safely to India. And then, like, in some other aspect, you look at the defense arrangements. You must have seen there is a lot that is happening between India and Australia. As you mentioned, Quad is just one among the many other things that is happening. So we do have a professional officer, a defense advisor. So we do kind of defense related work to further the collaboration between our two countries. So a lot happens. It is sometimes it will be predominantly political, sometimes it will be just science and technology, sometimes it will be dominated by consular and other affairs, but in balance it is a mix of everything, and that is what perhaps makes it more interesting and exciting. When you come to office, you do not know what the day has got in store for you. You have lots of new challenges and also lots of opportunities. That's what makes the day very, very engaging and interesting and fulfilling at the end of the day.
Thank you so much. In fact, I have also learned so much today about this Indian Foreign Service. In fact, you are not diplomatic, rather you gave the complete picture, which will be for the future aspirants. They can very well know now whether they have that aptitude and liking for Indian Foreign Service. So it was an excellent learning, and after listening to your interview, I feel I should have also given IFS as my first choice. Okay,
I'm glad that I managed to convince you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for accepting and
lovely
immediately
talking to
agreeing
you
for this interview, or rather the speech to the future aspirants. Thanks a lot, Mr. P.S. Karthigeyan.
Thank you so much, Israel. It was lovely talking to you, and always a pleasure to talk to aspiring candidates. We didn't have too many opportunities like that when we were aspiring at one point of time in our life. But now that technology has enabled such kind of interaction and sharing of experience. At the end of the day, it's all about sharing of experience. If this can help somebody choose better or make an informed decision in their life, it is worth it. And I'm glad that I could play a small part in that. And thank you for giving me an opportunity like this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All the candidates, all the very best. Thank you.